Let's go. All right, guys. Well, it's a day before I'm supposed to fly out. By the time you're watching this, I'm probably on a plane because I'll probably release this at 10 a.m. and my flight's at 10 a.m. on Saturday. So I'm going to spend the next half an hour walking because I haven't got my workout in today. And obviously I'm still trying to get to the 10 to 12,000 steps a day. But more importantly, I haven't vlogged. The last vlog you would have seen on the channel was when we surprised my dad with the watch, the surprise gift. So if you like surprises and a little emotions or emotional reaction, then yeah, definitely go check out that last video on the channel. Now, the last 7 or 8 days has been crazy. And I just wanted to share it with you guys. I think also documenting it is important because we're going to get swept away with the fact that the wedding's here. We're going to be happy, and I'll share a little bit more about that in a little bit, but I think it was important that I was going to share with you the last 7 or 8 days that we've had leading into this wedding. Now, of course, there's a lot to do with the planning and the admin and all of that. We've got wedding planners, but this is the beauty of running a business where the last 7 to 8 days has been so turbulent. I was in the office till 9 p.m. last night, just trying to put out some fires. Now, I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys a reality of what's happening, because you might just come across my content, whether it's on personal finance channel or you come across our search property Instagram page or TikTok page, and it's all fun and games. Everyone's having a good time. But these last 7 or 8 days has been humbling. So I thought I'd share with you guys, and also a reminder to myself in the future, because I'm probably going to watch this, that when the highs are high, you need to keep level-headed, and when the lows are low, you need to do the opposite. And I made an interesting observation about myself over the last couple of days. So let's take it back 8 days ago. We had some information come up, wasn't great, things happened here and there, and you just put out fires, right? It's just business as usual. But to have all these things pop up while you're trying to plan a wedding and you're closing out what will be the biggest January we've ever had at Search Property, things are moving quickly, and you have that all happen at the same time. It's very hard to, I guess, adapt to everything, stay level-headed, stay positive. But the interesting observation I made was people around me obviously were really affected, and so was I. But I think I've surprised myself in this, during this phase where we're hitting an all-time high when it comes to a January. Next week actually is 5 years of running Search Property. Might go this way actually. Is 5 years of running Search Property, and this will be the most successful January we've ever had. So to have that high, obviously there's a lot of positive feelings, emotions. And so I thought, okay, well, you know, you have to celebrate these moments. Great, awesome, win for the team, we're doing well. And then to have that followed up with, you know, 8 days ago, activities that happened or played out. And then to have something as close as yesterday happen, I was like, firstly, I've got to try and make some time in amongst packing as well, and last minute transport accommodation sort of things, because the wedding's overseas. There are still things that need to be attended to despite having a wedding planner. That in amongst all that, having something pop up as soon as yesterday, so close to the wedding coming up, it's just such a mix between, you know, the highs and the lows. And so just a nice reminder that you can't get carried away in either direction, at least for myself, and it's a humbling experience and I love it. Although it sounds like things are negative, they're absolutely positive. It's almost like you've got net negative on the micro, but net positive through the roof on the macro. So anyways, that's what I've been dealing with for the last couple of days. And it's weird because there's some people in the office that come up to me like, man, I'm so excited for you. Wedding's happening, blah, 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 blah. Same thing to Sanjo. And then you're trying to put out some fires before you get on a plane. So if I'm making this, it means that I've dealt with the fires. It also means that I'm ahead in terms of shooting all my content because I wanted to keep the YouTube stuff going. I'm taking this camera with me, so I most likely will vlog a lot from the wedding as well. So be sure to smash that red button if you're interested in that sort of stuff. You'll get a POV of what it's like spending a lot of money on a wedding, but you're creating, I suppose, memories, not just for myself and Sanjo, but also for the wider family, because I just don't think, you know, we've definitely not had a wedding like this in our entire family, both sides, but I don't think there's also either going to be another wedding at this scale. So it's going to be fantastic for, you know, grandparents to meet siblings and hang out and, yeah, all the cool shit. It's expensive, but I think it's going to be totally worth it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for, more so for them. We travel quite a bit. You would have seen either here or on Instagram. So I'm very fortunate about that, but you know, grandparents need a really good reason to get on a plane these days, and their siblings live halfway around the world, so they're not going to make the move either unless they can meet in between and they had a good enough reason. So all we've done is just given them a good enough reason, I think. So I'm very excited by that. Plan is that I'm shooting this on Friday, obviously, and I'll be flying tomorrow. On our flight, we have, I think there's 26 or 27 of us. So it's definitely going to be a vibe. What's crazy is there's a few people from the team that actually went across today. So they were on the flight, and I'm very grateful, but these guys are next level. This is what happens when you hire the right people, cultivate the right culture. Not that I advocate for this, but they were on the flight and they had Wi-Fi and they just worked. A couple of deals got done while they were on the flight. Then they video called me once they landed in Singapore, and I was just about to shoot a YouTube video, and I'm like, holy shit, you guys are just built differently. So yeah, things are looking good. I was getting FOMO and I wasn't even on their flight, and I can only imagine what it looks like tomorrow. So about 27 of us, a couple of people from work are on that family flight, a couple of friends, family obviously, and the plan is that we go straight from the airport to the resort, which is about a 3-hour drive down south from Bangkok. And I think that by the time we get there, it's probably going to be about 8 o'clock. And so plan is just to maybe do like room service or potentially have like a nice little dinner with a small crew. And then the following day, which is the Sunday, that will be the day that we start looking at, okay, make sure everything's in the right spot, catch up with the wedding planners, but very excited for everything to just play out. I don't know if you can hear the dude behind me, he's talking so loudly. Anyways, we're gonna turn around in a bit. So that's my life at the moment, is deal with the turbulence of the business. Tomorrow, or today when you're watching this, deal with the turbulence of the plane. But I wouldn't have it any other way, and I think old Ravi, even just 6 months ago, wouldn't have dealt with it in the same way. And I'm glad that I went through it, because it's just like building blocks. And I think now we're getting to a point where, even with the team as well, we've just got people that love problem solving. And that's how I've sort of got my mindset acclimatized, is things will happen. And all you have to do is respond to it in the right way. And he who responds to it in the best way wins. And in this case, it's just you versus you, right? So me and my own lane. So yeah, that's on the home front. Health front, things have been looking all right. I feel like this entire month has just gone by so quickly. It's been a sprint. Getting a call. Sanjo. All right, BRB. Okay, we're back on. Sanjo was just calling. She's like, hey, where are you? don't we have cleaners coming? And I was like, yeah, I checked with them before I left. So they're coming in like half an hour. So do this walk for another 15, 20 minutes and then we're good. And yeah, so she's headed to Pilates. It'll be her last workout before she gets on a plane. And I didn't realize, like I've been to Thailand a few times, but I think the last couple of times I've flown into either like Phuket or I go to like Singapore and then go across. So I didn't realize that going to Bangkok was going to be like 9.5 hours. They claim it's 9 hours 50, but I think it's gonna be less than that for sure. So anyways, speaking of cleaners, I actually made a video on my personal finance channel, and it was just about how you value your time. And sometimes when I talk about, oh, you know, having a cleaner, we don't have a cook yet. I'd love that. But every time I talk about that, it's sometimes gets a bit weird for people. Like, I don't know, you're acting all pricey and shit. But the reality is that it's going to cost me, I mean, the cleaners that we have, they're pretty expensive. I think they cost about $280, and there's 3 of them that rock up and they just sort of smash it out in like 2 hours. So I guess, you know, if you break it down, it's a big place. It's like 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. All right, we'll come back around, head back. And anyways, so when you think about it, it's like 2 hours worth, which, you know, there's 3 of them. So it's 6 hours worth of work. That's costing, let's call it 300. So it's effectively saying that each hour, if you divide the 300 by 6, is $50 an hour. And yes, I've gone on this walk, which is not making me any money, but it's like, if that was my hourly rate of $50 per hour, then okay, makes sense. If I was gonna work somewhere and I make $20 an hour, then it technically makes more sense for me to do the cleaning myself. But if I have an hourly rate that's higher than that, then technically I'm losing money. That's the concept. Obviously, if you just, and Dan Martell talks about this. He's written a book called Buy Back Your Time. If you don't like reading, you should check out like his YouTube channel. And he talks about buying back your time, and some people take it in the wrong way. They're like, oh, I can just buy back my time and pay someone else to do something, and then I can just, you know, do nothing, play video games or whatever. But that's not really how it works, unless you need to use that time to de-stress and decompress, and then you go, well, I'm coming up with ideas that are going to make me more money than that. Anyways, I digress. So I'm really excited because I've got 2 books as well that I want to watch. I want to read. I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person that gets on a flight. First thing I do before I get on the flight is the day before, or a couple of days before, I will go and see everything that's playing on the entertainment system. All right, so movies, TV shows that are going to be on the plane. And then I'll go, okay, cool. Mentally prepare, mentally favorite a few of them. And then what I do is I get on the plane, and for the first half an hour, I will just go ahead and just love heart or add to watch list. And this all sounds great until I get to the point where I realize I'm not going to watch anything, and I don't end up watching anything. So chances are I'm still going to do that tomorrow. I also like downloading stuff, so I don't like the fact that you can't have, I think there is a way that you can watch sort of Netflix if you download it onto your laptop, but it's mainly to do with like through the App Store. So if you did like have an iPad, I'm not taking the iPad this time, but if you had an iPad, you could actually download content on there for Netflix. If you have an iPhone, obviously you could do it on there too. But Amazon Prime, you could download the app on your MacBook. So obviously it's very different when you're like, you know, it's a small screen compared to a big screen. And so I think there's a couple of shows on there that I'd like to watch. And I need to suss out if I can do that with Apple TV. If I can, that would be amazing. Sort of defeats the purpose if it's like an Apple product and you can't do it with Apple TV. But anyways, I think the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to with the next couple of days is, you know, being able to just share these moments, be in the moment, rather than, you know, sort of thinking about a bunch of other things like work's always going to be there, problems will always exist. So it's just a matter of like making the most of the situation. And the idea is that if, you know, I'm involved in just everything, because it's obviously my wedding, all the attention's on me, which is a bit weird because Sanjo and I are very introverted. So we have small bursts of extroversion. Sounds like extra virgin. But we have these small spurts of energy, and then we need our time. Whereas in this case, you're traveling to another country, everyone's staying at the same resort, which means you get up for lunch, you get up for breakfast, buffet breakfast, you'll see people, so now you'll talk to people, and then you go to all the events with people, and then you come back and you sleep, and then you do it all again the next day for like 5 days because it's an Indian wedding. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. And the people that know me, which is the majority of people coming to this wedding, they're all just like, it's going to be the funniest thing seeing you in action because you just don't like being around people that often for that long. So it'll definitely be a challenge, but I'm going to try and enjoy as much as I can. We're going to have a content creator there, so that'll be cool. So you'll probably see a lot more on Instagram pop up during this week. Obviously friends and family are going to put up stuff on their stories and whatnot. Outside of that, there will be no posting of, you know, work-related content this week from myself. I've already shot what I needed to shoot, and now I've got the team that'll upload. I just need to send a few more notes tonight, and then we're good. So yeah, overall, very happy, and more so surprised with how I've reacted to how things have played out in the last 7 or 8 days. You keep moving on, and it just seems like every time there's some sort of hurdle you overcome, you just get stronger and stronger. And it's probably the reason why, if I think back last 6 months, how much has happened and how I react now is very different to what I did 6 months ago, is because things happen at a faster pace, and you learn a lot more. You know what trigger points there are, you know how to not react emotionally. And this week's been crazy. I think I've done 2 podcast shoots. I've shot, I think it was 4 YouTube videos. And in amongst that, dealing with the stuff that's happened in the last 7 days. So it's been busy, but have definitely enjoyed it. And now, plan is I go home. I pretty much packed like 90% of it about 4 days ago. So that I'm thanking myself about, because if I hadn't done that, I'd be stressing out. So I think I've only got like 2 things left on my list. A couple of things I'll just complete while I'm in bed, smash out those emails. And yeah, tomorrow, basically mentally log off. I'll be doing a lot of training over the last 2 weeks as well to get the team ready for what's happening, because we've got probably about, I think from memory, there's about 11 or 12 people coming from the office. And that's also wild because we, closed off RSVPs a while ago. And I look at it now and, because we closed it off a couple of months ago, and since then we've had so many people join, and naturally you just, you connect with some people more than others, but you just go, shit, man, I'd love to have you up, at the wedding as well. But, we closed RSVPs a while ago. I didn't know we were going to hire so many more people. So good thing is that we have a good team that is still available, still will be able to keep the ship sailing. And I'm very excited to be, taking this time away, reflect, obviously have time with family, fill up that bucket, recover. We've got the honeymoon in Maldives, which will be really nice. Then we do a couple of days in Singapore, then come home. And boy, am I going to be ready for the next phase, because there are some seriously good, exciting, I can't even talk, some really exciting announcements to make. So just keep working hard, and having the right people makes it like so much easier and so much more enjoyable. And that's why it's going to be awesome to just have, my closest friends, but also people that I work with that we've become so close over time. Naturally, if you get the right environment, you get the right people as well. So I'm really excited about sharing that all with them as well. So subscribe if you like this sort of content. I promise that I make videos outside of just walking around. But yeah, it's supposed to be me capturing my boring life, which happens to be my best life and my happiest life. So I don't have Lambos and I don't do crazy shit. But if you like just real talk, then keep following. I'll catch you guys while I'm in Thailand.